Stop me if you've heard this before. Hey, Cavendish Boulevard, they're going to extend it, you know.
If I stop you, will it delay it even further?
No, I don't think that's even possible. There's a great picture today in the Gazette of a couple of city council, well, actually one city councilor, the mayor. So this would be Mitch Brownstein in Côte-St-Luc, Alan D'Souza in Saint Laurent, and Peter Malouf out in TMR, all on the cover, each pointing a different way, going, when the hell are they going to do something about extending Cavendish Boulevard, as they've talked about for the past 50 years?
And DIDA BERKU in the back with her arms crossed, looking like, come on.
Yeah. So DIDA BERKU is on the line right now. She is a city councilor in Côte-St-Luc. DIDA, thanks for being here this afternoon.
Thank you very much for having me.
Whose idea was it to do the picture that way, by the way? The Gazette photographer or someone there who was already posing?
I would suggest that was my idea.
Oh,
yes.
good for you.
Hey.
There you go. I thought it was great. It's a wonderful picture going like, what the hell? So look, I'm trying to understand this because we have been talking about this, forever. It's almost like every time the mayor is here, we will ask that question. And by the way, I think you might want to hear this, DIDA. We had the mayor on a couple of weeks ago. Valerie Plante was on the air with us. And at the end of the interview, we were talking about Cavendish. I think we were talking about the Hippodrome at the time, but that's kind of part of this. And I asked a question about Cavendish Boulevard, and is it going to get done, and when's it going to get done? And this is what she said.
We're doing Cavendish for sure.
That's it. How long have you heard that from the city? We're doing Cavendish for sure.
Yes, I as I was getting on, I just heard someone say, and I couldn't identify who it was, the money is reserved. Was that from a few weeks ago?
That was Valerie Plante in that same interview.
Okay, great. So that's very good to know. So since early May, we have been advised by the City of Montreal that the environmental studies are on pause. They're on the ice. And they pulled the plug on the environmental studies, basically, for reasons which were never explained to us. And I tried to get answers. I asked Madame Moserol. I asked the chargé de projet. The answers was that they didn't have the budget, but they do have millions of dollars, as you could see from the table of budget that I sent you earlier today. Mm-hmm. So there's no budget issue. They've put aside tens of millions of dollars worth of budget in order to do the project. And I'm pleased to hear that the money is reserved, but I know for sure that now the studies are on hold, according to the question that I asked at the Aglo Commission, at the Aglo meeting last week. And the response was, now we have a Gallup committee. I said, what's the Gallup committee? So then I realized the Gallup committee is this committee that they've set up with all these high-powered business and, leaders of the community, set up with the Quebec government to study the financial montage for the Hippodrome. So, well, that's fine, but that's the Hippodrome. And in any event, Cavendish was supposed to have been started 6 years ago when you got the Hippodrome for $1. Yeah. And the only consideration for that donation, really, the gift, was that they proceed quickly and diligently on Cavendish. And they didn't do anything for 6 years. And then finally, last year, they filed at the BAP, which was a very big achievement for us. So they filed the motion, the avis de projet at the BAP. And in that avis de projet, there's a calendar, there's a schedule that they have to respect, which is that they were supposed to do the environmental studies this year, 2023, and they didn't even start it in May.
Okay, well, I want to understand. So, there's a lot of what's going on, but my understanding, at least from the article I saw today, is now you're kind of bypassing the city because you can't get any definitive answers, and you're calling on the province to do something about this?
Well, it's not that I'm calling on what I'm saying is that the city undertook last year to do environmental studies this year, 2023. They've put it on hold. We have it, from very sure sources, and they didn't deny that it's on hold. Mm-hmm. At last week when I brought it up at the Aglo hearing. So now they put it on hold, and they're telling us the reason they put it on hold is because of this Gallup committee that they created for the Hippodrome, which is a total contradiction because the whole notion of the Hippodrome, the whole idea, why was the Hippodrome given to the City of Montreal for $1. It was given to the City of Montreal for $1 plus the condition that they move forward on Cavendish, that they do the environmental studies, that they proceed, that they put it in their budget. And so they put it in the budget, but they never spend the budget.
Do you want to proffer an opinion onto why this is happening, or in this case, not happening? What's going on?
Yes, so that was a real surprise to me that they're saying, oh, the environmental studies are on hold until this committee can figure out what to do with the hippodrome, which they should have been figuring out for the past 6 years, but now they woke up. I think that what it is that the Quebec government and the federal government never, ever entertained the idea of funding or financing Cavendish. And we know that the federal government funds transit, mass transit, but not roads. That's no longer something that they fund. So I think that what the Plante administration is trying to do is co-opt the Quebec government, put them it together on this committee, and then have this committee suggest that, well, it's such a major project, maybe the Quebec and the federal government should contribute,
cough up some money. Yeah.
And in the meantime, they're sitting on this property that's worth, at the time in 2017, $60 million was evaluated. Now it's worth over $100 million for sure, which they haven't sold one piece or they sold a tiny piece for 250 units to a nonprofit that doesn't have any, let's say, commercial profitability objectives, but they can't sell it to any real estate developer because the restrictions are so severe that no developer wants to go anywhere near it.
So what I'm troubled by in all this is that the timeline was already not great. We were looking at, I think, 2032, with the plans moving ahead as it was supposed to be. Now, with everything being on pause, what kind of timeline are we looking at?
That's something that we have to examine. But
it's the $1 million question, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. But it has to move forward. I mean, they filed at the BAP. They don't want to move that one forward. Then they go with the Hippodrome Committee. I mean, they have to make up their minds quickly. But I think more importantly, the Quebec government has to enforce the agreement. They have to say, you're supposed to be moving forward on Cavendish, not collaborate with the City of Montreal by allowing them to drag it out further. It's totally contrary to the agreement that they signed in the first place.
DIDA, you're laying out a case where I think if we sat back and just listened objectively, we'd say nothing is going to happen here in any sort of short amount of time. I mean,
it has to happen.
Yeah, well,
there are 360,000 more, drivers a day at the 15 Quarante exchange. There's hundreds of trucks that are jam-packed into Ferrier, Paris, Jean-Talon, Royal Mount. They're packed. There's businesses that are trying to make a living and working hard for our Montreal economy that are absolutely stalled and roadblocked by this.
And by the way, let me point out, we haven't even brought up Royal Mount and what a mess that's going to make in that area as well. So I don't even want to go there. But look, we have to wrap up. I'd be very curious to see what the city says in response to the story today. And if you get any direction, maybe we can touch base within the next couple of weeks. DIDA, thank you so much.
It's an ongoing story.
Well, I'm sure it is.
Sure it
has been for a long time.
1940, yeah.
DIDA BERKU, city councilor in Côte-St-Luc, along with, as I said, all the other borough mayors this would affect in Saint Laurent, Montreal, in TMR, and nothing from the city other than Valerie Plante, who simply said this.
We're doing Cavendish for sure.
Uh-huh.